Hello, Ham Radio friends. It's been a while since I posted an update for Repeater World. I've been very busy with my new job at Canva, but now I have an update and it's a big one and I'm very excited, and it feels like with this change is Repeater World coming of age. You'll see why in a moment. So this is how Repeater World used to be before. So I'm just looking at the repeater, nothing has changed here, but there's a form for adding a new repeater. And if you click on it and open it, it asks you some information about yourself and then the information about the repeater. Yeah, nothing special here. If you go to the bottom of the repeater, you have an update repeater button. And if you click that one, you get the same form, but this time with details about the repeater. Now, it might look like you're editing the repeater, but that's not really what's happening. So, for example, if I write the super duper repeater and then I update this repeater, great, thank you for helping us grow. I'm very thankful when everybody adds new details. This is how Repeater World can stay current. So yes, I'm very thankful for that. But if now I go back to the repeater, reload the page, and there's no changes. Because what that form does is it creates the data somewhere else and sends me an email. The data looks like this. So I get the detail with a copy of all of the information, with all of the changes in there, and an email so that I know that it happened. And then I need to go and look at this, make sure, like, does this make sense? Sometimes I go and I check the website for the repeater to see if the changes make sense. Oftentimes people send me the details like in different units, like altitude above sea level in feet instead of meters or in whatever, and I need to convert it all to a single homogeneous way, the way the data is stored in Repeater World. I do all of that, I save it, I mark this as done, and then the information is updated. Now, this is fine when I get like one repeater a month. But lately, thankfully, Repeater World has been becoming more popular and I'm getting more updates, and I'm getting to the point where I'm having trouble keeping up with the updates. There was a time where I responded to updates like a month later, and I'm not very happy with that. I'm starting to be the bottleneck. This is a problem. This is a good problem, but still a problem, and it requires a solution. So I implemented the solution and I just released it. From now on, this is the new Repeater World. I don't know why the map is not loaded. Let me see. There we go. This is the new Repeater World. If you go to add a repeater world, to add a repeater, you can see that there's a form that is similar, but it's not asking you any information about yourself. We'll get to that in a moment. If you come to a repeater, you have an update repeater button, and here we can do the same change. We update it. And that's it. It's live with the new details. This is very scary. I'm opening to the world, to be honest. To update repeaters, you do need to ask me for permission first. I need to enable it in your account. There's a few people that have been contributing a lot, and I'm going to be enabling their accounts. For others, I am not sure still how I'm going to check. It's going to be a bit of an experiment, but there's also the add repeater form. This form, before anybody could fill it up, now only people that are registered can fill it up. And that is because if you fill the details here, that repeater goes live immediately and it's public in Repeater World. You do need to sign up. You need to verify your email address, which is part of the sign up process. If you're not logged in and you try to add a repeater, you get that message. And if you try to edit a repeater, you get a different message, and it tells you the email address where you should send the email to ask me to enable it in your account. As I said, this is a scary change. I am letting go of the reins and letting other people control the information that is in repeater world. Repeater world by now has more than 70,000 repeaters. Some countries are covered better than other countries. It depends whether importing the information from that country is easy or not. I have some ideas on how to import a lot more information, maybe getting to 25,000 repeaters. We'll see. But I think the end goal is that keepers and people that are interested in maintaining this data can do it directly in the system. This was a lot of work. If you're not an engineer, a software developer, you can stop looking now, go to Repeater World, start updating your repeaters. We are done for that part. But I want to share a bit more about the software development behind, because Repeater World is open source. Anybody and everybody can look at the source, make changes, propose the changes to me. I'm going to review them, and if it's good, I'm going to add them. And that's how Repeater World can become better. Now, understand, why would somebody else contribute to my site? Well, it's there for everybody, right? Everybody can take advantage of Repeater World, and all of the data that is collecting is also open for everybody to download and use in any way. So technically, somebody could go clone Repeater World and clone all of the data and create a competitor. Hopefully nobody does it. Hopefully people contribute and collaborate, and we work together on having one single place that is amazing instead of a lot of different ones that might implement different features and none is feature complete. Like, that's another matter for another video. So this was a big change. It was 1,297 lines of code that I added and 868 lines of code that I removed. And this was because I needed to improve the validation of the repeater data, because if I'm opening to the wall, I need to make sure that when somebody is adding the data, it is correct. For example, the frequencies are all in hertz. They're not in kilohertz, megahertz, or gigahertz. Eventually, I would like to have some niceties in the UI that show them both in edit and in display in the right units that make sense for the value, but they're all in hertz. So you cannot enter 144.25. You have to enter 144,250,000. So I needed to have all of the code to validate that the data seemed correct. When I did that, when I added all of those validations, aside from the code and all of the features to be able to edit, because those didn't exist, so I created all of those, then I created the validations, then a lot of the importers broke, because a lot of the data that I'm imported from third parties is so broken that wouldn't pass these basic validations. So I had to go and fix many of the importers. Also, because these changes scares me, I added a paper trail so that I have a history of all of the changes of a repeater. So if somebody tries to delete data or is malicious or makes a mistake, I have the previous version to roll back to. Hopefully it won't be necessary, but this gives me a little bit of peace of mind. There's no deletion at the moment. If somebody wants to delete, they can send me an email and I'll evaluate it. One of the problems with deleting is that if I delete that repeater and it's being imported, it's just going to be re-imported. So it needs to be a soft delete that prevents importing from happening. But then there's this ghost repeater. Like, what happens if that repeater actually does come back? There's this ghost repeater that is preventing this repeater from coming back. I don't know what the solution there is. That's why I haven't worked on the software for that, because I don't know what the software should do yet. Also, because now people are going to have different levels. Some people can edit repeaters, some people cannot. I envision that soon there's going to be repeaters that have owners, which are the keepers, and the keepers might want nobody else but them to edit. I think some keepers are very on top of maintaining the data in places like Repeater World, where some keepers are not. So for some repeaters, I think the community is going to be maintaining it, and for some repeaters, the keeper is going to be maintaining it, and the keeper is the one, at that point, the keeper should be the only one having access, and access should be cut to everybody else. So I had to add an authorization system on top of the authentication system, and you see the things start to pile up. I changed 78 fast. Like, this was a big change. It took me 43 commits. I think it took me about like a month to build it. Also, by the first time that I said, okay, this is roughly okay, the test coverage was suffering. It went down a lot. Well, a lot, a little bit. It's just that I like having high test coverage. And I wasn't happy with this. So I had to do a few iterations until I arrived at this level of test coverage, which everything is green and getting better. And this makes me happy. Anyway, Repeater World is here for everybody. The source code is there, the data is there, and I hope with this change it starts to evolve much faster and we have one single place where we can expect the data to be correct, because this has been a pain in... I'm not going to finish that sentence. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching, and please do help me keep the data up to date. Bye bye.